Honorable Chair, esteemed members of the House, ladies and gentlemen, as the first speakers of the opening government bench, I stand before you today to present our case in the motion. As government, we support the motion that amid the rise in food poisoning, Makan Bergizi Gratis or MBG program causes more harm than good. MBG was created to provide free meals and improve nutrition. But recent increase in food poisoning show that the program is failing at its most basic purpose, ensuring safety. These outbreaks are not isolated accidents, but symptoms of deeper structural problems. Tight budget that push supplier toward chips and MBG, mass productions with poor hygiene, untrained and food handlers, weak monitoring and inconsistent storage, and also delivery systems. As a result, that program has become a direct threat to children's health, MBG leading to hospitalizations, school disruptions, and also growing public distress. The harms extend beyond health alone. Families face medical expense, lose income caring for sick, and also children and their school struggles to manage chaos, and the government must spend additional resources on damage problems to control these accumulated harms, outweigh the limited benefit of one free meal, proving that the program now burdens and the people it seeks to help because MBG is unsafe, poorly executed and causing more damage than good. We proudly support the motion. Thank you.
Okay, member of the House, we firmly reject the claim that MBG causes more harm than good. The proposition built its case on a few cases of food poisoning and treats them as evidence of an inherently harmful program, when in reality, these are operational failures, problems that can and should be solved. The correct response to implementation issues is not abandoning MBG, but improving monitoring, supplier standards, and hygiene practices. MBG provides essential daily nutrition to millions of children who would otherwise go hungry, and the benefits are substantial, such as better school attendance, improved concentration, stronger long-term health, and reduced financial pressure on low-income families. Ladies and gentlemen, these consistent nationwide benefits far outweigh temporary setback that can be addressed through better oversight. If you're claiming the program causes more harm than good, that ignores that food insecurity and malnutrition pose far greater and longer-lasting dangers than rare contamination incident. If the House truly cares about safeguarding children, the sensible course is to strengthen MBG, not to abandon it. I urge this House to support a set of targeted improvements, including rigorous supplier vetting and certification, routine independent inspection and random sample testing, mandatory food safety training for all caterers and school staff, an accessible and prompt reporting mechanism for parents, teachers, and pupils, and greater public transparency through the regular publication of audit results, corrective actions, and approved supplier lists. this House, these are practical and achievable measures that can significantly reduce risks and restore public confidence without dismantling a program on which thousands rely. Finally, we must not lose the human perspective in these technical arguments. Behind the statistic are little lives. Children who come to school hungry, parents who breathe easier knowing their children receive one wholesome meal, teachers who can teach rather than to worry. Our duty is to protect and improve their prospect. For these reasons, I respectfully oppose the motion. Let us commit to sharpening ambiguous safeguards and strengthening its delivery so that its life-improving benefit endure and expand, not discard a vital social program that at the first sign of difficulty. I urge the House to vote against the motion. Thank you.
The opposition argues that recent food poisoning cases are simply isolated mistakes, unfortunate but fixable. But this framing is deeply flawed. A pattern of rising cases cannot be treated as random accidents. These incidents are not coincidence. They are symptoms of a structural problem inside the Brain Nutritionist Program or MBK. What the opposition calls as isolated mistakes are inconsistent warning signs of a system that is failing at its core. Consider how MBK operates in reality. It is a massive national program, yet it relies on the rushed procurement, minimal quality control, and a constant pressure to cut costs. When suppliers are underpaid, they responded predictably. Cheaper ingredients, weaker safety standards, and outsourcing to unregulated kitchens. When food handlers receive no training, there is no mandatory certification. Mistakes become routine when one inspector is responsible for hundreds of schools. Oversight becomes symbolic. In this condition, food poisoning is not an accident anymore. It is an expected outcome. The opposition claims that the solution is simply better monitoring or stricter regulation. But this optimism ignores how fragmented, underfunded, and decentralized this system already is. You cannot stabilize a nationwide feeding program overnight. And while the government tries to repair it, thousands of children continue eating meals prepared with inconsistent hygiene, inconsistent standards, and inconsistent supervision. The risk continues every day, not because individuals are careless, but because the system makes failures unavoidable. The opposition also emphasized the noble intention behind MBK, which is to nourish children and support learning, but intentions do not protect children. Proper implementation does. When implementation repeatedly fails, intentions lose their meaning. A program meant to provide nutrition cannot be justified if dosing meals led to stomach cramps, vomiting, dehydration, hospitalization, or even long-term fear of school lunches. The moment food intended to help ends up harming, the moral foundation of the program collapses. The opposition further ignores the broader harms, which is first, health consequences. Repeated poisoning weakens immunity and can threaten child's development. Second, educational impact, which can outbreaks for school closures and disrupt learning. Third, financial strain. Parents must cover medical costs by themselves and take time off work, which burdens that fall hardest on the very low-income families MBK aims to support. Fourth, trust erosion. Once parents distrust school meals, even safe meals will be rejected. That loss of trust is extremely difficult to rebuild. Meanwhile, the benefits of MBK are uneven and unreliable. The opposition say that the program can work, but a feeding program must work every single day for every single child. Today, the harms are real, documented, and widespread. While the benefits are inconsistent and overshadowed by ongoing risk, in any reasonable policy evaluation, consistent harm outweighs uncertain benefit. For all these reasons, Despite the opposition's optimism, the reality is clear. MBK's structural weaknesses are too deep to ignore and too dangerous to accept. The pattern of food poisoning is a warning that the system is failing the children it was meant to protect. Therefore, this House should stand by the motion and acknowledge that the Free Nutritionist Program, or MBK, in its current form causes more harm than good.
Honorable Judge, I will reinforce why the government case remains fundamentally flawed. Their proposition insists that these food poisoning incidents are systemic, yet they fail to prove that the entire MBK structure is beyond repair. Every large-scale public program faces implementation problem, and the appropriate response is targeted reform, not dismantling a program that millions rely on. Improved supplier screening, mandatory hygiene training, stricter temperature regulation, and more frequent inspection are all realistic measures that address harm without depriving children on essential needs. The government also exaggerates harm by focusing on short-term incidents while ignoring long-term gains, reduced hunger, better classroom performance, financial relief for low-income households, and protection against chronic malnutrition. They benefits occur daily across the nation, while contamination cases are rare, localized, and correctable. It is unreasonable to claim the program causes more harm than good, when removing involved immediately create with speed, hunger, financial strain, and lower academic performance far greater harms than occasional operational failures. The provision treats solvable mismanagement as proof or inherent failure, whereas MBK remains both necessary and entirely improvable. Furthermore, the proposition overlooks the principle of proportionality in policymaking. A few isolated cases shall not outweigh years of measurable success and positive outcomes. Abolishing MBK would not only remove a vital nutritional safety net, but also dismantle a program that has proven effective in mitigating educational inequality. Instead of scrapping the system, it is the government's responsibility to refine it with data-driven monitoring system, transparent reporting channels, structure accountability for negligent parties. These measures ensure that the program evolves rather than collapses under premature judgment. Reform, not removal, is the most rational response to public concern.
Honorable judges, fellow debaters, and everyone here today, I'm here to lay it out straight. On our government side, has this debate locked in? The big question we're wrestling with is simple. Do the real-world harms of makan bergizi gratis or MBG outweigh whatever good it's supposed to do? And let me tell you, we have shown time again and again that the harms absolutely do. Look, the opposition keeps painting this rosy picture of a program that can be fixed, with a few tweaks. But come on, they have got to explain away the endless strings of food poisoning outbreaks hitting schools across the countries. These aren't flukes, they are direct result of the program's broken core, rushed buying of suppliers, not enough money thrown at it, sloppy hygiene standards, and basically no real oversight. It's not just one bad day, it's a pattern baked into how this thing is set up. Imagine this. In a region after region, kids are lining up for what they think is a nutritious meal. only to end up doubled over in pain because the food wasn't handled right. We have seen reports from places like Uttar Pradesh or Maharashtra where hundreds of children fell ill in a single week. Raw vegetables contaminated, expired ingredients slipped through, and cooks working in conditions that wouldn't pass a basic health. This isn't about a bad luck. It's about a system that is fundamentally flawed from the very start. Sure, MBG might deliver some nutrition on paper, but what's the point in the food making if the food making process is making kids sick? You can't build a healthy future on poisoned plates. And let's talk about the opposition's so-called fixes. They throw around ideas like a better training or more funding. But where's the proof that will actually work? We have tried patches before, and they haven't stuck. The program's been around for almost a year, and these issues persist. It's like putting a band-aid on a gaping wound. It doesn't solve the root problem. Now let's get real about the fallout. It's devastating. We are talking kids ending up in hospitals, some with severe dehydration or worse, missing out on crucial school days that could set them back for life. Schools grind to a halt, teachers scrambling to manage chaos, parents pulling up kids out in fear, families they are hit hard economically, medical bills piling up, wages lost from taking time off to work to care for sick children. And don't forget the bigger picture, the erosion of public trust. When parents can't rely on the government to feed their kids safely, what does that say about our government, about our commitment for the next generation? This isn't just about the program failing, it's a betrayal of the very people it's meant to help. These harms are immediate, widespread, and in many cases irreversible. A child's lost education or a family's financial strain doesn't just bounce back. Judges, when you wake this up, remember, our side has the evidence of what's actually going on, not just a wishful thinking. We've laid out the systemic failures, the human cost, and the urgent need to action. For all these reasons, it is crystal clear MBG in its current state does more harm than good. I urge this House to take back the motion, stand with us, and push for a program that truly protects our children. Thank you.
Honorable judges, as the opposition whip, I will demonstrate why the opposition side wins. The government's argument hinges on portraying MBG as inherently dangerous. Yet they fail to prove that food poisoning is universal, inevitable, and unfixable. Our side has shown that the harms they describe stem from mismanagement, not the program itself. In contrast, MBG delivers daily, irreplaceable benefits, reducing hunger, supporting poor families, boosting concentration, and preventing long-term malnutrition. These widespread benefits far exceed the limited scope of the incident the government focused on. Removing MBG will produce far greater harms, children going hungry, families experiencing financial distress, and schools suffering lower attendance and academic focus. Problems far worse than occasional contamination events. The governments relies on fear and assumption about permanent structural failure, while we provide a balanced and realistic analysis. Millions benefit every single day, while only a small minority are affected when local breakdowns occur. The correct solution is to improve oversight, not eliminate a crucial support system. Therefore, the opposition clearly wins this debate.
As closing government, we demonstrate conclusively that makan bersih gratis in its current form causes more harm than good. And the opposition has still not answered the central issues. The preventable and limited food safety failures that continue to endanger thousands of children. What we see across regions is not a string of isolated accidents, but a consistent pattern caused by structural weaknesses. Trust procurement, inconsistent quality control, untrained food handlers, and monitoring systems that are too weak to guarantee safety on a daily basis. On a daily basis, these problems are embedded in how the program currently operates, meaning they cannot be reliably resolved while MBG continues unchanged. More importantly, when a program is designed to now reach children instead of becomes a source of fear and risk, the state has a responsibility to pause, redesign, or replace it rather than continue gambling with public health. The erosion of trust itself a long-term harm. Parents grow anxious, teachers face community pressure, and students begin refusing meals. These consequences undermine the very goals MBK claims to serve and create lasting damage that outweighs its intended nutritional benefits. By suspending or overhauling MBK, we prevent further outbreaks, rebuild accountability, and open the path to a safer alternative that does not compromise children's health. For this reason, closing government proudly supports the motion. Thank you.
As closing opposition, here's why we reject the government's plan. Yes, there are problems, but they are not the problems that require shutting MBG down. The food poisoning issue comes from poor checks and hygiene, not from the program itself. So, why remove the whole system when the real solution is simply to fix how it's run? If MBG stops, millions of students will lose their daily meal. For many of them, especially in low income areas, that meal is what keeps them focused in class and even keeps them in school. Ending MBG would make inequality worse and set students back in their education and health. The government hasn't proven that these harms are unavoidable, but we have shown they can be solved with better inspections, proper food safety training, and also stronger regulation of suppliers. So, our stance is simple. Don't take away a program that helps children every day just because it needs improvement. That choice causes for more harm. What we defend today is not a flawed system, but a system that can and must be improved. Because the people who depend on it are the ones who have the least. When the government chooses to remove support instead of fixing the issues, they aren't protecting students, they are abandoning them. Because when children go hungry, education fails, and that is a cost we cannot accept. For all these reasons, we proudly oppose the motion. Thank you.